2023 has been quite an interesting year for movies, and I'm going to go through every film I watched this year, from the good to the not so good. And since the past 5 years has been littered with superhero movies, I'll start with those. I watched Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and a lot of people online said this was one of the best MCU movies, and I'm sorry, I don't really see it. I still think it's a good movie, but compared to Infinity War, Endgame, No Way Home, or even the first installment, I don't think it holds up as much. It kept on baiting you into thinking a character would die, but then they wouldn't because of some miracle, and even if they did, the MCU is so obsessed with bringing back dead characters that it wouldn't even matter because there's always another universe. But speaking of multiverses, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is amazing, which I know is a little contradictory to what I just said, but this movie knows how to do it right. Each universe has its own unique art style, which looks stunning, and this is probably one of the best looking animated movies ever. And as much as I wish we would get that next installment soon, I don't mind waiting so they can make sure that they land the ending. So Spider-Man will likely win Best Animated Feature. However, I have not watched The Boy and the Heron, which might deserve it better, but Spider-Man was at least the best superhero movie of the year. Although it should be mentioned that I have not seen The Flash, and I think I'll pass on Ant-Man. Something I should bring up with my earlier reviews is I fell victim to a little thing called recency bias. You can knock down my scores by at least half a point to make it accurate to how I feel now. The Super Mario Bros. Movie is one I want to talk about in particular because, yeah, the recency bias on this one is pretty bad. I wrote the video script right after I got out of the theater, and it shows. I was so focused on the fan servicey stuff that I didn't really pay attention to the underdeveloped plot and the pretty generic story. It's a lot more noticeable on rewatch, so I'm going to have to lower my 4.8 out of 5 to like a 3.3. And Dial of Destiny still has the same problems as it did, and this really got a nomination for Best Original Score. I've got my eye on you, Academy. But anyways, I watched Barbie, and it was pretty funny, and Barbie should win Best Costume Design, Production Design, and I'm Just Kidding is the best thing we got all year. Ryan Gosling knocked it out of the park with this one, and I wouldn't be mad if he won Best Supporting Actor. However, there might be some more deserving nominees, but I'll get to that later. Killers of the Flower Moon is going to get the bronze medal for my third favorite movie of the year. This is a very long movie with a runtime of 3.5 hours, but it doesn't feel too dragged out, and it uses that runtime to really flush out this devastating tragic story. Telling the story from Ernest's perspective actually works because you get to see their motives and reasonings. This film overall might actually have the best performances of the year. Robert De Niro and Leo are amazing as usual, but it's actually Lily Gladstone who I think steals the show. She does a perfect job showing what this character is going through, even if it doesn't show the story from her perspective. This is just a great film, and I think I need to watch more of Scorsese's films. And now my pick for my second favorite movie of the year is none other than The Holdovers. This film is kind of a weird one because it doesn't tell the most complex story, but it all works so well because of its characters. They start off closed off from each other, but it slowly begin to open up about their lives, and it all combines to tell such a warm yet bittersweet story. I'm picking Divine Joy Randolph for Best Supporting Actress, and for Best Actor it's really close between Paul Giamatti and another actor in my favorite movie of the year. And you probably already know what it is, but if you don't, well... let me just say the title does not lie, which couldn't have happened without Cillian Murphy's perfect performance of a man who's in the morally gray area. And I would have to give the slight edge to Cillian Murphy over Paul Giamatti, but both are fantastic. And the performances don't end there. Robert Downey Jr. surprised me with how good his performance was. I only know him from Iron Man, but he's clearly more than that. I also really liked Matt Damon's performance, and Emily Blunt was also great. This movie is also really great at building tension in almost every scene, even if at the core it's just people talking in a room. And seeing the bomb being tested was incredible. And when it finally goes off, the sound and visuals can't be matched. And that's why you needed to see this in IMAX. including myself. Man, I wanted to see this in theaters, but my parents saw it without me. One thing I always look forward to in a movie is its score, and this does not disappoint. It has me feeling like I'm levitating. That's how good it is. If I did have one complaint, it would be that sometimes there's a bit too much happening and it might be a little hard to follow. But that's also just Nolan. And one other nitpicky thing is, at some points it's kind of difficult to hear what they're saying, and there was a few lines I missed. But other than that, this is just a great film, and a sharp contrast to what modern day Hollywood puts out. And the last scene gives me chills and makes me rethink the planet I live on. This is true cinema. And give Nolan his Oscar. And also give this film Best Score, Cinematography, Adapted Screenplay, and of course, Best Picture. 4.5 out of 5.